What's going on, everyone? Michael here from 3D Print Everything, and today we are going to unbox and assemble a KP3S Pro. So let's get started here. I've already put together two of them, and just before this video, and I've put together another one before that. I'm gonna try to do this one-handed while I hold the phone. I know I have two camera holders somewhere in my shop here, but somehow I managed to not know where to locate either one of them, so I didn't try this one-handed, but we'll see what we can do. I'm going to do everything I can to look through the screen, so I'm going to assemble this one-handed and through a screen, so if it seems like I'm fumbling or handicapping around, that is why. Alright, let's get this out. So, comes in just a few boxes. We got our little box here. This has our tools. We need that out, this out, this, and if you don't already have these out, those. Yeah, nothing else in there we need in the moment. Set that aside. And like over here, we'll take these two, power cord, and that out. Take the rollers. Those are a bit lame, out. And here's the one-handed tricky part. This is attached to the base. It's a little heavy from one hand. Alright. We got that on there. Alright, so first step is you want to get these two out, the ones with the T-nuts. So we're going to take those. If I can do this one-handed, you can definitely do it. I will have to put my phone down at some point, but we will see how far I can get just one-handed. I'm going to make it a challenge now. Come on, unscrew the T-nut. I don't know how I'm supposed to do this. Okay, so we will kind of... Where's the camera? There it is. That kind of works. Alright, so we're going to take these off. And then stick this in here. And it'll be easier if you go ahead and put your Allen wrench on the back side of that. And then you're going to put your T-nut in. And you just want to turn it about 2 turns. Now, if I've not read the instructions. I've just assembled so many printers that I know how they go together, and I've assembled so many KingRoons. Might help to slide the bed up in this case. That way you can get to this one easily. But I've assembled so many that I just know how they go together, and that's kind of why, or that's part of the reason why I went ahead and did 2 of these before I decided to film the third one. One, I was just excited to get them together and I didn't even think about filming it. On the second one, I was like, okay, I got this down pretty good. I think I should film doing it. So, that's why we're doing it. So right here, we're going to take our Z-rail and you're going to slide it in like that. Now, you could tighten it there, but it's kind of tricky to get to and tighten. Hold on, I gotta set the camera down again. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick this up and rotate it. So now I have it sitting like this, right? And then these are the bolt holes for our rail there. So we're gonna line that up. Now, you might be tempted to think that you put these on the bottom here. That is incorrect. You will be putting the small ones, the little short ones, into the bottom here. So the trick here is with one hand you're going to be putting this in, and then with the other hand you're going to be kind of balancing this and moving it around, shoving it far back up in there, so that you can get the bolt hole exactly. So I will see if I can do that with one hand somehow. I really wish I had my phone holder. Let me see. I can kind of go like that, okay. Yeah, so just watch me. I just need to kind of adjust. So I'm grabbing onto the Z rail here and just hand tightening that in place. There's the other one. We'll put that one in. Come on. There it is. And then we are going to tighten this down. And you can go ahead and fully tighten this. So we're going to go all the way down. And we'll go all the way down on this one. And I recommend going all the way down on it and then, and you don't have to go too hard right there, turn your wrench sideways and give it a good crank. That'll be much stronger than doing it long ways. Now, take your long ones and those, oh, that just slammed. That's okay. Those are going to go in right here. So we'll put that one in, and we'll put this one in. Sorry if I was blocking the view before. I'm really trying to watch through the lens of the camera so that we can, I can see what you're seeing. Is this going in? I don't think it is. It has an issue here. Maybe. Okay, hold on. Maybe this was a little too tight. Let's see, I hadn't run into this before, so this is a new one. But these two side bolts weren't going in. Why is that? Let me take one of these out and look at it. So now we're investigating. This wasn't a part of the video. I didn't expect that not to land. Don't see why it wouldn't. Maybe it's just a little bad machining or something? I'm not sure there. Okay, no, it caught now. I don't know what the... Oh, it might have just been... So, it looks like this hole, the clearance is a little tight, so I think it was just catching on that lip there. So if we can get it just past that lip, it should be alright. Yeah, there we go. Whatever the reason, it is down now. Okay, good, we're back on. Alrighty. So not too much of a hiccup there. There we go, we got past that lip. Alright, now since I loosened these bottom ones, we're going to retighten those back up. So tight, taut. Got that one tight, we'll turn this one sideways, tighten these two. Alright, we are almost done. Now we're going to go back to the front. And this is where in the box there is your Z-rail. And we're going to take that Z-rail and slide it in from the top here. It will go down and slide into there. And generally it's easier to like lift it up a little bit. And then, sorry, a lot of this is taking two hands. Sorry, my production skills aren't up to par. This is just how life is here. I shoot it as it is. But we're going to take that. Can you see what I'm doing? Yes. Okay, so right here, these top two, that's what we're going to tighten here. Okay, get that tight. And I like doing this as the next step, the Z-rod, because what this will do is this will help keep this elevated. So with this elevated up here, we now have easier access to these little screws here, or bolts. So we're now going to take this one here in front and tighten those two. Okay. So now that those two are tight, and you do want to double check. So these use a T-nut. So get up in here and look. Look right here. You want to see this nut turn sideways like it's done. If it doesn't look like that, it won't be grabbing the back side of there, and it won't be doing its job. But anyways, that is now pretty much complete. All right, let's do the last finishing touches. So that's fully assembled though. Right there you go. It took, what, 6 bolts, tightening 8. Your next step will be taking off this little bit of plastic here. And there is a couple more things to check, so we're not totally done, but the assembly is done. Okay, so we'll take off these little metal clips. They don't go right there. All right, take the build plate off. Whoops. If anybody ever wonders how my shop gets so messy, like, this is how. I mean, luckily it's a shared shop, so I can just kind of shift some of the blame on other people, but let's be real. A good chunk of it's me. One day, hopefully, I'll have so much money that I can just pay people to pick up after me, or I can put myself in a position that just doesn't make a mess. And then I can yell at everybody else for making a mess. JK. I'll always sympathize with people who get work done, but are a little messy. Alright, so I'm taking the plastic off this. This is double-sided, so you can print on just straight glass, or you can print on the boracite. Thing is, I've never looked up what boracite is. I don't really know. If you know exactly what boracite is, or if you just Googled it to tell me, that'd be cool. I'll read the comment if you tell me what boracite specifically is. They call it boracite glass, but I'm guessing the boracite is the added on top, unless there's like some type of specific glass that is called boracite, but whatever. Not important. What is important is it's an okay build plate. It's not too bad. I would still prefer the PEI sheets, but for like I'm about to do some nylon parts. The nylon actually sticks a little bit better to the glass than it does PEI, but nylon will stick better to PEX. So if you can get specific PEX sizes, like Amazon right now, I don't see any PEX size. I don't see any PEX sheets that'll fit on a 200 or other ones. You know, go figure. I've been trying to find a PEI sheet on Amazon. For these, they don't have them. Like, they have 220, they have 250, but no one's building like a 200. I found like 200 by like 250. Like, what's the point of that? Anyways, so that is pretty much, let me think. Okay, one, obviously this shouldn't shake. I mean, you just want to kind of give a general shake. Test your belts. You want your belts to have pretty good tension. I mean, that's one kind of test. Like let's see. Let's show you what out would look like. So this is just way too loose. So way too loose. Look at how it, you know, if you tighten it a little bit, still like this not too bad. Tighten a little bit more. That's what you want. Yeah, look at that. See, like a little, like the chord to a guitar or something. Yeah, you want good tension. So now hopefully you know that. Let's get out our power cord and we will do the first level. Oh yeah, one other thing that I needed you to check, and this was one of the reasons that I was thinking, oh yeah, I should do a video about this. Okay, so underneath here, you want to make sure, grab your bed, shake it back and forth. If it has any play whatsoever, aside from this, so look, there's two things that I want to show here. Sorry for my abysmal. If you shake this back and forth, and the only thing you see is the springs and the bolts moving, that's cool. What you're looking for is any movement in your wheels. Okay, these are concentric nuts. I've told a lot of people about them. I didn't know about them for probably a year and a half, but that's what this wrench is for. This wrench is to get up in here, and what a concentric nut is just a nut with a hole that's like off center, so it'll be like up here, so that when you're tightening it, it's just taking the wheel and moving it closer or further away to this rail here. I did not mean to pause it, but I did, whatever. So you can get the KP3S Pro with a linear rail upgrade kit. These came before the linear upgrade kit came, and I think you have to install it yourself. A little bit of lame, but so be it. The wheels will be fine, honestly. They'll work good. I would prefer it if the rails were on here, but for this build right now and doing production, it's going to work just fine. The other thing, always check your switch here. I've had at least 20 to 50 machines out of several hundred have this switch backwards. So if you plug your machine in and it doesn't work, that's generally what it is. Or it works really weird or stupid, or, you know, check that first. It's really nice that the power supply is built in. And what else? Time to level it. I want to do that really quick. Literally getting a phone call. Hopefully it's not important. Where is... right here. Okay. Okay, more cuts in the video because I had to answer the phone call. But we are powering up the printer now. So, first step is to do a general leveling. Now, I haven't leveled these other two yet, so we're going to go through the leveling ourselves. Now, one thing I learned, and I think it's smart that KingRoon does this, is I find that KingRoon leaves this intentionally too far up consistently. So it forces you to adjust this down or to adjust your bed to get your leveling right. They don't have it set up so that if you just try to print something out of the box without leveling this, that your nozzle would smash into the bed and ruin it. Generally it'll print in the air. Like so if people just come in here and start trying to print without leveling it, generally it'll print in the air, which is a much better result than damaging your bed. So I will give props to KingRoon on that one. So in the screen, we're going to go to leveling, and we'll go to 0.1. So right now I have no idea what the current state of the level is set at. And while it's homing real quick, we're going to grab my chair. Not that ugly one. This one. That way I can sit. Okay. One thing I do wish is that KingRoon did a dual or like a three-way. Like this little cooling fan should cover 3 sides of that nozzle, ideally. Okay, wow, so that's actually really close. That's closer than I was expecting. But that's not too bad. So what else we're going to look at is for the tension on the springs. Honestly, that... yeah, I think I need to adjust the concentric nut. So it kind of moved up and down a little bit. And the other thing to check, so this was the other thing that I forgot earlier, is I was trying to adjust this wheel earlier, and this wheel's actually moving. It should not be free moving like that. It needs to be tight. You need to check this nut and this bolt here. So on my other printer, I was adjusting these and they were still really loose even at their tightest setting. And it was because it was being pushed outwards because the whole bolt and nut assembly was loose. So all you do there is the other side of this one, the smaller one, goes on top here, and then you can put the Allen wrench on the bottom and tighten it. So that's definitely what you need to do. Yeah, there we go. Now that's where it needs to be. So this is all really tight. But what I'm also looking for is the tension on the spring. You want to have the spring tension loose, but you like loose. You don't want to have it fully compressed, but you also want it on a dense compression. Like the tighter the compression, in my opinion, the better. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of adjust these further down because I think it could use a bit more compression there. So what that will help with specifically is like when you're doing this to your bed, you might have seen earlier how the bed was kind of moving back and forth from the spring and the bolt and whatnot. Now that I've tightened that, there's less of that. So like the only thing shaking here now is the fact that I have it on an uneven table. I think that even just fixed it there. Okay, so look at that. Yeah, look at the whole machine. Nothing is moving. That's exactly what we want. Literally grabbing the bed, transferring that just a teeniest bit of wiggle through the actual bolt and spring there into the frame, and the frame's not moving. Great. I went into move and I changed this to 10 and then hit Z up a couple of times. That way I could have easy hand access to this screw. Now I'm going to adjust this screw down probably about 3 turns because that's about what it felt like I did to the bed. Maybe that's 4, I don't know. So go back to leveling, go to 0.1. And how I teach this is that on the first step here that I'm showing you, you want the nozzle at just a visible gap. Like, not a large visible gap. Like, the first, you know, when can you see through my fingers? You know, right there. Like, is that a clear path through it? Looks like it. That's probably where I'd want it to be. You know, right in that area. So, let's look. See, that really close. But I'm thinking I want to get just a little bit closer. And I want it to be done on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and screw this in just a little bit more. Alright. Leveling 0.1 again. So now that nozzle should be touching. And that's our springs on the bed, not fully compressed, probably not even 80% compressed, probably about 50 to 60%. And that's kind of where I want it at. Perfect. Okay, so now I take my adjustment spring right there. See? Go back up a little bit. Yeah, right about there. So that is, sorry, I'm jerking it around a lot. That's pretty much what you want to look at. It's just a visible gap. So let's go to 0.2 now. I'm gonna expect it's gonna smash into the bed a little bit here. Yeah, see, and we even saw the bed go down some. That's okay. Perfect. Maybe even a little bit more than that. The camera actually sees it better than my eye does. Nice, okay. 0.3. Now, what I've found is that if you literally just get it to the first visible gap, I mean, what your eyes can comfortably see when kind of bending over and looking at this anyways, is literally about 0.1 of a millimeter, 0.2 of a millimeter. This is probably about 0.2 of a millimeter that you're looking at right there. It is not very much. 0.4. And that's pretty much exactly what you wanted it. I mean, you want your first layer at about 0.1 to 0.3. I run about a 0.2 to 0.3 all the time. Sorry, I had a bug on me. Okay. So I'm trying to get the camera to focus. Yep, visible gap. You can even see it in the reflection. That's cool. Okay, so that was our first step. Now for this specific printer, it's gonna have the filament runout sensor on the side. And one thing that I noticed was when I had shoved this in this hole, it kinda, I think the hole is just a teeny bit too small. So, because when I put this in here before, not only is it really difficult, but when I fed filament through it, I felt like there was a good bit of resistance. So I think I'm just gonna have this rest right here, or in the future I might just take this and just drill it out just a teeny bit so that this will just comfortably slide in. But it is important that you're gonna have this inserted in up here. And if you want to use the filament runout sensor, you can have this on the side here like this for a Bowden tube setup like this. You could cut this short, run filament from up top here down to it, and then just put a spoof in the middle, or if there's a setting in here to turn the thing off, you could. But either way, that is going to be how you do that. Okay, so the next step to getting a perfect level, because that is a part of this video, and that's what I'm going to show you, is over here on the computer. So we're going to have Kira, and if you haven't set up a profile for it, essentially all you're going to do, and I'll go ahead and do it one now, is you will go to add a new printer, non-network printer. You'll come down to KingRoon and then KP3S, and then just add the name Pro to it, you know, or name it whatever you want. Call it Cinderella for all it matters. I've seen Disney named 3D printers. And then you'll take this from 180 and change it to 200. 200, 200, 200. And that's the only difference. You click next, and boom, it's done. So now we have KP3S Pro. And on the initial ones, it's going to have a 0.4 nozzle, so you just leave that alone. I change out mine to a 0.6. I recommend it. No big deal either way. These are parts I'm about to print, actually on this. So that's cool. But here, we're going to... Hold on, I gotta hold the shift key while holding the camera and the mouse. Alright, so I'm gonna delete all those. And if you've already gone to Marketplace and got the parts calibration, that will be in extensions, and you can come down here and get the bed level calibration and slap that on there. It's a little big. It's saying it's too big. It's not. It's just the brim. 0.2. All the stock settings are gonna be just fine. I'll prefer a brim, and I only need like 5 brims. And we'll go ahead and turn arc welder on too, because I like arc welder. All right, slice. So that is now our level platform. And we forgot to grab this. So we will grab this here. And while I'm figuring out how to handle this, let's go ahead and we will come in here to preheat. And we'll get the nozzle warming up. And then, not that hot. 200. And then we'll get the bed warming up. It won't take long. But just in the 20-30 seconds of us 1 minute loading this as a file and loading in the filament, it will be ready. Okay, so I'm curious what's in their thing. So they have software drivers, Windows 7. I don't know what any of this is. I've honestly never looked through this software. So Ultimaker Kira 4.1. Man, what are we on right now? This is it was just telling me what 5 point something came out, 5.12 or 5.3. Yeah, I don't recommend using 4.1 Kira. Use the latest version of Kira. Some Chinese STLs. Kind of wonder what they are, but okay, so here is the manual. Let's see how far out from the manual I am. Alright, KingRoon manual. Okay, step 1, put the T-nut in, put that in. So they just tell you on step 1, do all 3 of those. Step 2, tighten that down. Step 3, hey, cool, they actually tell you to do this. This is normally not included. So yeah, that's really good. Props KingRoon for actually paying attention to that. Plug your power supply in. This is nice too. I'm glad they include that. Tells you to go through the leveling, how to add it. I mean, that's pretty much the best, like, minimalistic instructions I've seen. Like, that actually gives you what you need to know, what they can do. That's legit. Good job on all that. Okay, so we were pretty much right on, except I showed you like 1 or 2 more little things. So cool. All right, that's good. We'll save that. And back to the printer. So now we're gonna throw this in the printer, and I guess for the sake of time, I'll just use this. I'm just trying to think if there's a better way to do it. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna use the gold. So I'm gonna take these 2 rollers right now, and then actually I'm gonna use white. Why don't I just use white? This will be John's. So we're gonna take this white right here, chop it, and we'll take it off this thing, and we'll bring it over. Yeah. Now I really don't like these wheels. Sorry, let me do this real quick. But the wheels are okay. The only issue I ever have with them is when it gets really low in the roll of filament. When it gets lightweight, it tends to dump off real good. And then if you have it immediately next to the printer like it is right now, what will happen over a long period of time is you'll more than likely wear out the filament sensor. So much like how it's important that we have this blue tube going into our tensioner arm here, that's to prevent it, because if we just put filament down in here, it eventually will wear through this collar and then wear into the arm, and then it will fall out of the pathway to get smushed by the idler gear and the pulley there. Eventually the filament will just cut right through this like a saw. It'll take a long time. It'll take many months of heavy daily use. But, you know, if your filament sensor wears out in a year, it wears out in a year. Where literally, if we were to take this filament sensor off and I just took a little drill and I drilled it like this far, that diameter right there. So if I could fit a drill in that hole perfectly, and I just drilled the bottom side of this, I could put a little bit of this tube right here, and it would be perfect. Because like if this doesn't fit down in here, then the filament's going to rub on this metal, and it's not going to like wear the metal out, but it'll wear some of that filament and then create like debris and whatnot, debris, whatever. Let's see. So sorry, I'm doing something off camera. Okay, I'm trying to put this in here like all one-handed, but I do want to show this last little bit. I know it's taken forever to just get to the leveling bit of this, but I do want to show it for those people who are here to watch. It might be informative to some. Yeah, this might be tricky, and I think we're gonna have to drill that out. Yeah, I just can't seem to get that in there properly. Okay, and yeah, I need 2 hands for this one too. So now what I do here is, if it's bent like this, I take my 2 fingers and my thumb like this, and I bend little kinks in it. I didn't really straighten it out, but I bend little kinks so that it's a little bit more straight. And then you just take that and you bring it down in here, and just kind of go until you know you got it at the bottom. And then sometimes you can even twist this, and yeah, I'm hearing it go down, so I know that's good to go. Okay, so our filament is loaded. Last step, we go into printing, and then we hit untitled because that was the name of it, and we hit print, and it should already be warmed up. Now it's going to warm up to 60. I can tell it not to, so it'll just start now. Heat bed 50. Perfecto. Okay, and this will be okay because this will be pulling it. This will pull down like that, so it's not a big deal. No, I got another phone call, but I'll have to call him right back. All right, so this is the final last step. You essentially just want to kind of pay attention to this first layer, and what you're looking for is a smoosh. We want a good smush in it. Let's see, it looks like there was some red in there before. So I mean, what we're looking for eventually, as it starts stacking lines, is you want lines perfectly aligned with the edge. You don't want to see gaps. You don't want to see it like smushed or see-through. And then you do the finger test on if you can run your finger over it and it not come up, then it's probably pretty good. So like back here, we're probably pretty good. Maybe a little bit. It actually needs to go up. Needs to go up over here. Needs to go up over here. So this is how you live adjust it. And you can just take any bits that aren't connected very good and quickly yoink them off. But there we go. That's what we're looking for. So see, now it passes the finger test. If you can just lightly rub your finger over, not your nails, not anything else, but even your nails, it should not come up, and it will look nice and clean. Just a little fuzz. Okay, so that, yeah, that's looking perfect. So that's what you want a single line to look like. And now the printer is fully level and ready to go. So when I sell someone a 3D printer in a starter package, this is the state I get it to. We run one of these tests, make sure that it works good. When I fix a printer, I run this test. The bed leveling test is the best initial, layer test. But that's it. That is a KP3S Pro fully put together with all the tips and tricks. There is a way, if you wanted, you can get an extension wire for this thing here. I believe it's like a 3-plug, so you can find a specific extension wire that'll fit this plug, and then run that through this up to here, and then you can unhook this and hook it in right here above this and run filament from above. I recommend that rather than doing the filament from below, but that's the only like negativity thing that I can give to KingRoon on this one. Otherwise, it's a pretty solid machine, and I think it's going to be a really good producer for me. I've already got one that I've been running for a month. I just got these 3, and I already have people wanting to buy these 3, so I'll be getting some more of them. But yeah, it's a solid machine for the price. I still really like it. So I'm looking forward to it. It's even quieter, I believe, and I like the fact that the power supply is on the inside. Really nice upgrades. So this is a very long video now, but I appreciate everyone who made it to the end, and have a good day. Like, share, subscribe this. I hope this helped you if you were putting together a 3D printer yourself, or I hope it helped if you were wanting to buy this one versus any other ones. I'm not saying it's the end all best of the best. There's plenty of other ones that have some features these don't, that are a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, you know, more in price, less in price. You know, in my personal opinion, best bang for the buck, this is what it is. Any Cobra, not too bad, but it's not direct drive. And, you know, I've had a lot of people be mentioning that one recently. Pretty much anything that actually has true auto self-leveling is going to be decent for the future. The only issue that I see with it is you have to understand you still have to have everything tightened down perfectly, or it's not going to work. Because I had some Cobras come in, and they're all auto self-leveling. It should take care of it itself, but it wasn't. And you know why it wasn't? The concentric nuts were off. The bed wobbled a little bit. The fact that the bed wobbled, when it would touch on it and whatnot, it would push it down over here, it pushed it down over there, made the whole thing unlevel so that the auto leveling didn't work. So you still, as a user and operator, need to understand these machines and need to know how to make sure that everything is tight on it. There's, you know, we're still not there that the factory can, you know, 10,000 times consistently provide a machine that comes out of the box ready to print, you know, with little to no assembly and is perfect. It will take just a little bit of knowledge, so I hope that these videos like what I did here today can help you alleviate some of those concerns. It's part of the reason why, oh, I forget this is PETG and I'm printing it on PLA tips. But that's what's up. It's literally printing 250 degrees, and that looks good. Anyways, so that's why I want to stress these. Anyways, like, share, subscribe, guys. Have a good day, and I hope you learned something new today.